absolute profound failure. I needed a way to counterbalance my crazy. And I love that expression. And before I go any further, I just want to share that with you, okay? And why is that so powerful to me? Why does this notion of counterbalancing your crazy, why is that statement, why was it so important, and why is it still to this day so important? Who here has done 12 steps? And share with me your experience with it. Good, bad, indifferent. And let me just say this. 12 steps is the best free program in the world. Now, I think Smart Recovery has a fee. If you have not yet experienced Smart Recovery, I highly suggest you look it up. At my low point is when I discovered that there were alternatives to 12 steps. And I had no idea in decades of getting help that that was a reality. And particularly since out of all those issues that I mentioned, the one that really, really sucked the life out of me was my addiction to sex. And I learned at that low point that, wait a minute, sex addiction is not a recognized mental health disorder. I've since learned over the years that the DSM has refused to acknowledge or accept that diagnosis or that as a treatment philosophy. And I was angry. If you go back and listen to some of my early sex addiction podcasts, the name of my podcast where I speak around sex addiction and porn addiction issues is Sex Afflictions and Porn Addictions. I forgot the name. But if you go back and to some of those episodes, I'm angry. And I was angry. What do you mean the disease-based model doesn't work? What do you mean Lance Dode says it has a 10% efficacy rate? What do you mean sex addiction is not a recognized disorder? I was a dick. I was angry. And I met this guy named Dr. David Lay who wrote the book, The Myth of Sex Addiction. And here I am working with George Collins, an amazing man. He was my therapist. He's the one who hired with me. And so I go to these meetings and I felt stuck. And I looked around, and this is my experience. Let me be clear. I'm talking about me. I'm talking about this is facts, not even science or coach or just me, my experience. And I looked around and I saw the guys who had long-term sobriety, and that term just went, oh, we're talking about sex and sobriety. Like, what the hell are you talking about? I didn't connect. Surrender? Powerless? Turn yourself over to God? That wasn't me. That wasn't me. And when I saw the people who were sober, the people who had significant sobriety, their relationships were a mess. They were white knuckling it, holding on for dear life. And then I find out that there's another way, and there's mindfulness, and you can use that to cure myself of my disease. There's other options. And I felt like I was running away. Simple Man says in the chat, great for support, but it left out the how to replace the bad habit with something else. And like, now I'm helping people almost 8 years professionally, so you get a little complacent, you get a little stuck. And then sometimes someone will, like the client will jar me into reality, and they'll be like, oh my God, to break a habit, you have to make a habit. My success in not doing the thing is the function of me doing something else. Their head explodes. And I'm like, wait, doesn't everybody know that? That's so obvious. But for me, I always felt like I was running away from something. And just this notion of like running away. I'm running away, and there's the disease catching. There it is, right behind me, ready to catch me, ready to catch me, ready to catch me. And then what I learned about break a habit, make a habit was that, and by the way, this isn't a knock on 12 step. This is a knock on me. Okay. This is a knock on how I was internalizing that. And let me, no. It's not just that. Let me tell you, one of the most powerful lessons that I've learned over the years is that not every program is for everybody. Different strokes, different folks. And there's a name for that. The name for it is called the Therapeutic Alliance. Let me know in the chat if you've heard of that term, Therapeutic Alliance. And what the Therapeutic Alliance says, that it is not the modality that is the most impactful in a professional counseling therapeutic relationship. It's not that. It's the connection that you have to your provider. I mean, think about that for a second. So what you're getting here is the same Craig who's, the coach on the inside of the program. That's what I love about this engagement. This is so much fun that, just because I've been in the sex and porn space, there aren't many people out there talking about sex and porn, but you can talk about your drug addiction. You can talk about your addiction to meth. You can talk about your addiction to weed. That's right, Eric. It is your connection to the person. So what I've learned to do is I am more specific on, over the years, like who has done well in my program. I want to exploit that connection, not in a bad way. I want to exploit it in a positive way. I want to be as real as I possibly can because I'm going to attract people who resonate with my approach. And that's for you to do. That's what you need. And this is where you're here. Well, thank you. Thank you for connecting with me. Thank you for trusting me with your most valuable asset. And I hope, and we're gonna, I'm excited. I'm really, really excited about this Twitch. Every time I say Twitch, I think of my Twitches from the bat salts. Anyway, here we are streaming on Twitch. So blessed that you guys are here. So that's my relationship with 12 steps. I have since come around to see it for the buffet that it is. And I realized that anger was me. This was me. Oh, I'm better.